Hey guys, Alex Lessa here, and today I want to come to you with a story about something that happened in my life many years ago, and it completely changed who I was and who I am. Now, the tie to this whole story is that you have complete and total control of your life and your destiny. You choose where to end up and how you're going to end up there. And I want to emphasize this a little bit. Many years ago, I think when I was 18 years old, I purchased a motorcycle. And I remember I purchased it behind my parents' back, and I used to keep that motorcycle in my friend's garage. And all of a sudden, one day, just driving, I used to drive that motorcycle up and down town. One day I was driving it, and for the first time in a very long time, a gut feeling told me, hey, wear your protection gear tonight. So I put on my protection gear, and it was night. It was a cold night, and I drive around town, and all of a sudden, this 16-year-old girl that had just recently got her driver's license, still remember she was driving a red Jetta. She pulls out of the street and runs a stop sign and stops right dead in the middle of my street, right where I was driving. And there was no time for me to stop, no time for me to do absolutely anything. I tried slamming on my brakes, but ended up crashing anyways right into her, and I flew about 30 feet from the accident scene. Once I landed on my chest, and it was the creepiest, weirdest feeling. I mean, I was laying on the floor. You know, I felt like I was sinking into the floor, like I was laying in quicksand. It was a crazy feeling. Now, at this time, I couldn't feel my legs. I couldn't feel my arms. I didn't know if they were still attached to my body. I mean, I was completely numb. I didn't know if I was paralyzed. I didn't know if I was dead. And the craziest thing was, you know, you're sitting here in this puddle of your own blood, and you can't look around you to see if, in fact, you do have your arms and legs attached to your body. Now, just to give you an idea of how graphic the situation was, there was a ton of people that stopped at the motorcycle at the scene of the accident, and nobody would dare walk near me. Everybody thought that I was dead on the floor. But I do remember when I was laying there that this one Haitian guy walks up to me, and I hear him walking, and I yell out to him. I was like, "Hey, hey, hey!" And I asked him a question. I said, "Are my arms and legs attached to my body?" His answer to me was, "You're going to be all right. You're going to be all right. Don't worry. You're going to be all right. Hang in there." Little did I know the reason why he was telling me that was that I was in such a bad state. My legs and arms were so discombobulated that he didn't know how to answer that question. So when I actually got airlifted to the hospital, got put into the intensive care unit, the ICU. I stayed in the hospital for about a month. Had several surgeries, put numerous metal plates in my body to hold my limbs together. I remember there was one specific moment in the hospital, and this is where this whole story ties in. There was a doctor that came in. Before this whole accident, I was a bodybuilder. I considered myself having a really nice body. I was very strong, looked very good, very healthy, and this doctor walks in, and with all the nurses and all the resident doctors, he walks in, and I asked him, I said, "Doc, about how long do you think I'm going to be able to start working out again?" And that's when he laid it down on me. He said, "You're never going to be able to work out again. Forget it. Start changing your life right now, because your life's going to be totally different from this day forward." And that moment was the moment that I said to myself, there's absolutely nobody that's going to dictate what I do with my life and how I live my life and the things that I accomplish in my life. And that was the moment, that was a defining moment for me in the power and knowing the power that I hold within me. Now, once I got released from the hospital, I got sent home, and I was told to be in bed rest for God knows how many months, and it's exactly how it was. But I think it was about a month and a half after the hospital. I still had a cane on. I just had recently got all the staples removed from this arm, all the stitches removed from my legs, and I remember I walked into the gym with a cast on this arm. I had pins still sticking out of this arm. I was holding a cane. I was walking with a cane into the gym. I mean, I went from somebody who used to go into that gym looking like a bodybuilder to somebody who went in looking like a crack addict. I was thin like this, thin and white, looking like I hadn't been out in the sun in years. So I walk into this gym and everybody's looking at me like I'm a psychopath. What am I doing there? And I walk straight to the bench press machine. And I have somebody put these weights on there for me. And I said to myself, this is it. This is my defining moment. This right here is going to shape who I am. I sat on that bench press machine, and I had a crowd of people around me looking at me like I was psychotic. And I started benching, and I benched, and I benched, and I bench press, and I bench press. I had this big grin on my face, knowing that I accomplished something that I said that I was going to accomplish. And I did something, and I defied the odds that were against me. And I was able to do this. Okay? Now, the reason why I say this is because many times, guys, not everybody's born into an ideal situation and a perfect life. You know, there's always going to be roadblocks in you, but it's you that's going to determine how you're going to deal with those roadblocks and how are you going to learn from those roadblocks and how are you going to move past them. So I challenge you to do something. I challenge you right now that if you're in a miserable job, if you hate your life, if you're not happy with your current situations, if you're not happy with your family, if you're not happy with how your life in the direction you're headed in right now, I challenge you. I challenge you to defy your odds, to shake up your friends and shock them with what you can do. Now, one of the things that I did for me was, and that helped me out tremendously, was I actually, a while ago, I wrote out all of my goals, and I have about 4 pages of goals here. And I wrote out all of my goals, and I said, this is my future life. In the next 10 years, this is what my life is going to be like. And I look at this as my own kind of like user manual of what exactly I need to do to be there, to align my life in the direction that I want for with my goals. So if I didn't have this, I'd be lost. I'd be all over the place, not knowing which way I was heading in and which way I needed to be at, what place I needed to be at. So I challenge you today to set out some time, write out your goals, where you want to be in 10 years, and then I want you to write an action plan of how you're going to get there. Remember, there's absolutely no limitations except the limitations that you put on yourself. You can achieve anything that you can believe in. So if you can believe it, you can achieve it. Remember that. So what I want you to do is take out a piece of paper and a pen, a notebook, write down all of your goals, everything that you want to achieve in your life in the next 10 years, how your future life would be like, your ideal life, your family, your work, if you own any businesses, what car do you drive, where do you live, how do you live, what does your house look like, do you have any kids, are you married, are you unmarried, what's the deal? Write it out, be real with yourself. I mean, dig deep inside you and find out what you truly want for yourself. You're going to see, guys, you're going to see life in a whole different light. For more videos like this, guys, visit me at alexlessa.com. That's www.alexlessa.com. I'd love to stay connected with you. If you know anybody that can benefit from this video, share the love. Go ahead and press the share button below and make sure that they see this video and it impacts their life. Do a good deed for them.